How did it feel, bub? How did it feel, bub? Zing! It's fake. It's not real. Hey guys, so we're back talking about the Wolverine as we promised in our review for the Man of Steel. We were going to come back. I was going to bring Sam back again for another spoiler review. I just took her to see the Wolverine and we're going to start talking about it. And really quickly, a spoiler warning because this is a spoiler-filled review. We're going to talk about all different types of things that are in this movie, beginning, middle, end, especially the end, particularly the end credits. So overall, how'd you feel about Wolverine and Hugh Jackman's glorious body?
Glorious body part was delicious and it was a great film. I think I had a little bit of a problem focusing on in a couple scenes of actually what was going on.
So did I, actually. I won't lie. He's an attractive man.
He's naked for half this film.
He's a good-looking man. So the Wolverine opens with this really intense scene. You're in Nagasaki, the bomb drops. When they showed that shot, though, of Hugh Jackman's body just completely burnt to hell, I was like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of badass. And that's kind of set the tone for the movie because that opening where each of the warriors were committing suicide really set the tone for a more serious and kind of close
gruesome.
to, yeah, a little bit more gruesome of a comic book film. I didn't really view this as your typical comic book movie. It was a little more serious-minded.
I don't know if it would. I actually would have thought it was PG-13 when I was watching it. The body count is very high in this movie, and you see the body count, unlike in a couple films where you don't see the deaths, you just hear about them. You actually see like the body dropping in a couple places. You see the blood. I'm not
the blood on his claws.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's good for younger kids.
Oh, no. Wolverine's a
least,
killer.
Yeah,
Wolverine's a killer. And they got that part really good down pat in this movie. I love the fact that they really depicted him as that hardened badass that he is in the comics. Because I liked him in the first few movies.
They made him a more grungy character.
Yeah, he was just more, not just his physical transformation for his body. He was bigger. He was more veiny, more tight and everything. But his character as a person was more torn, more emotionally damaged. I liked how it opened and it showed him that he's not the Wolverine anymore. He's like, that's not who I am anymore. And you really get to see the progression of how not only he forgets about Jean Grey and moves on with another woman, but that scene where he fights Shingen with a sword and he's like, what kind of monster are you? He's like, the Wolverine, and he pulls that sword out of him. Oh my god, that scene gave me chills. I swear, it was beautiful.
I'm not so sure I liked the particular scene where they completely slice through his body.
Yeah.
How did his sword cut through his adamantium spine is more my question.
You know what? That's actually true. And that's one of the big fan complaints I've heard about this movie. I take fan complaints with a grain of salt. For one reason, I know that you can't adapt everything perfectly. I will give him this. They do go a little far with the adamantium stuff. For one, I read that in the comics, Silver Samurai can't actually cut through his claws, but he does in the movie. The whole adamantium spine probably wouldn't get cut all the way through with the sword either.
A normal, traditional samurai sword probably wouldn't have cut through adamantium.
Not at all. People can get a little nitpicky sometimes
where
they
pick at little things. If you're a Wolverine fan, you're going to have some... issues with the entire film as an entirety.
One of the things that a lot of fans have said is that the whole reveal at Silver Samurai is actually the Yoshida guy from the beginning is like, well, he's not, that's not who he is in the comics. That's not how it was in the comic. See, there are certain things, I understand there are liberties to be taken with characters from time to time.
Yeah.
That'll happen in an adaptation. It can't be perfect. It's not going to be. To me, the best way that you can adapt a comic to a film is if you capture the tone and the feel of the characters and the setting and the location. If you can sell that tone and feel as best as you can while taking some liberties, I'm fine with that. And there's a few liberties that are taken. It didn't take me out of the movie, though.
No, it doesn't take you out of the film. It's still, as a whole, a good film. It doesn't completely eradicate the character of the samurai.
But I still really enjoyed seeing it,
it actually fit the film.
It did. That's the thing. See, it fit the film they were making.
Yeah, it fit the film they were making.
His bodyguard, the redhead chick, the first few scenes of her, I was like, is she gonna really suck at acting? Well, the first time I saw it, but then I really started to get into her, and her performance is pretty good. Like the scene where Logan had to cut into himself to get that spider bot thing out of him, and she was like crying. She's like, Logan, you're going to die. Like, I don't know, it was just I was kind of attached to that scene. I liked it.
I liked her character. It was a strongly developed character. Mm-hmm. They gave her a backstory. They gave her kind of the reason she is now without telling too much of her story.
She kicked ass, too.
Yeah, she kicked ass. And you can tell it was a lot of actually her doing the stunts and a little less of the CGI, which I appreciated about this film. Is a lot of it is actually things that could almost completely be done in real life. There was a couple scenes that were a little bit obviously altered, but for the most part, it was a lot of actual people doing real stunt work.
Right.
And that makes me happy because people doing stunt work is starting to become a lost art form, and I love people actually doing real martial arts and real practice skills because it's almost starting to turn into a dying art form, which is very, very, very depressing for me.
I completely agree with you. That's one of my favorite things about this movie, the way James Mangold directed it. And I just want to say, James Mangold actually thanked me for my original review on Twitter, and if by any weird chance he watches this, that's awesome, dude. You did a really good job with the movie.
It was a really well-directed film.
It was good.
The shots were beautiful.
Hugh Jackman in this movie he is Wolverine at this point to me. I can't really envision someone else playing this role.
No.
I think he's only going to have a couple more films in him, but I just think he's so good.
He is the main X-Men that everybody's looking for in these films.
And yeah, that Easter egg at the end with Trask Industries on the TV, and you get Professor X and Magneto in there, sets up Days of Future Past. Huge audience response at the screening that I went to. They rip-roared. They were very happy about that. Things about this movie I really liked. The romantic relationship I actually thought was strong. And a few people told me, they were like, Chris, I don't really understand the importance of the romantic relationship. It's to help him. Yeah, it gets the past out of him.
Yeah,
the whole Jean Grey thing.
His soul of Jean and making him realize that I still have things I can live for.
Exactly.
Actually genuinely falls in love with this girl over a very short amount of time where he wants to protect her. It was a very quick
I don't know if he fell in love. Like, I feel like he just felt, he was able to feel a connection again.
Yeah, he felt a connection again to two people. Right. Not just one, two. Like, he kind of sees the other one almost kind of like a sister-y kind of thing. And then
totally.
her as a
That's what he was like.
Don't touch my friends. That's
right. Don't. What do you say? Don't hit my friends?
Yeah, don't hit my friends.
Don't hit my friends.
Yeah, so he obviously...
I'm going to say that to people. Whenever, if someone ever hits my friends, I'm going to sprout claws. Don't hit my friends.
What if they hit me?
Well, then I'll kill them. There won't be any talking. That will just be death.
I'll probably hit back first.
Instant death. Yeah, we'll both hit. Overall, I felt that the Wolverine from start to finish, for the most part, was a pretty consistent movie, except for the last 20 minutes and the inclusion of the character of Viper, the blonde chick. I didn't really think she was a strong villain.
I should have realized that she was coming, though. I really should have, especially with that bear scene at the beginning. He kind of brings up the honor thing again, and you should have gone after that bear instead of poisoning it, because that's obviously why those people got killed.
Which, by the way, that was pretty awesome in that bar. Yeah. He just sticks it in the guy's hand, and he's like, ask me where I found it. And he's like, where'd you find it? And he's like, funny you should ask.
And then he pours down the arrow and burning alcohol into an open wound.
See, that's Wolverine to me. That is what, even though he said he wasn't the character of Wolverine in that scene, when he became Wolverine after the Shingen fight again, it was kind of like in Dark Knight Rises when Bruce Wayne climbed out of the pit and you got the Batman theme for the first time. I really dug Wolverine. The last 20 minutes got a little comic bookish for me, but just I'm going to go with my original A- grade. I really like the movie.
I'm still a little bit leery of how they sliced off his claws with a hot adamantium sword.
It wasn't in the comics that way. I can deal with it because it made it more intense.
Yeah.
It made it more like, oh shit, like Wolverine was just getting hurt. But I get it. It worked for the movie. It
worked for the movie, but overall, I gave this film, the storyline I gave a B+, and the directing I'm going to give probably an A. Like, I liked the scenes, I liked the shots, I liked the clothes that they put, some of the more intricate details, paying attention to the culture of where they were at a little bit more. Them giving that an A, and the story a B+.
One of the things I didn't mention, actually, was how much I love the Japanese culture. And you and I both really like the Asian culture. And so that kind of added to it for us, too, because it was cool to... I like in movies where people who are Japanese actually speak Japanese.
Instead of trying to butcher American.
Right. Not everyone is always speaking English when they're in their private quarters filled with Japanese people. They're probably going to speak Japanese, which I liked about this movie.
And I actually understood everything that they were saying.
That's from all the anime you watch.
It's from all the anime I watch. And it's true. I've actually gotten to the point where I don't really have to look at the subtitles anymore to know what's being said in the anime.
It's pretty impressive. So guys, what did you think of Wolverine? We both enjoyed the film. We're going to come back in a few weeks or so. We'll pick another movie coming out soon, maybe Kick-Ass 2 or Thor.
Maybe.
and we'll do
definitely Thor.
Yeah, definitely Thor for sure. We'll do a no spoiler review.
Maybe do a Halloween video. Might get some surprises with the Halloween video.
Yeah, we thought about doing some scary movie reviews later in October, just for like a fun.
I didn't see anything in the lineup worth a damn.
Just like a fun themed thing. Yeah. Thanks again for joining me, Sam. And as always, guys, if you did like this review, then you can click right here and get. What are you doing?
Are you gonna say it? You made me say it every other
time. Yeah, get Stuckmanized. Just go get Stuckmanized.
You even come back to that at that little Easter egg.
Little Easter egg at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the little Easter egg at the end of the film where you get Magneto and Professor back.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, and that sets up the next Days of Future Past.
Especially with Trask being on the screen.
Trask.
Yeah. I can't pronounce things anymore. You even get that little Easter egg at the end, Professor X and Magneto kind of meeting him at the airport 2 years later, and you see Trask.
How about I say it?
Yeah.
One of the things I really liked, which you had your head buried in my shoulder for most of this scene, was how intense they made the scene where Logan digs that thing out of him. I was like, wow! Like, this is awesome! Like, I don't know. Like, I really love that because it was just so...
my head buried in your shoulder. I was kind of just
You were like this.
No, I was not.
Yes, you were!
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
She doesn't remember because she was traumatized.
I was not traumatized. No, I watched him dig his hand into himself, and then you got to watch it on the computer.
Yeah.
In the thing, reach in and like try to grab that thing off
him.
Like
this.
No, I was not.
Okay.
I deal better with blood than you do.
That's not true. Let's go watch Only God Forgives. Let's go watch it. Let's see what you think about the eye-cutting scene and the ear-stabbing scene.
Okay, I can deal with the ear-stabbing scene. Anything with needles or sharp instruments going towards eyes, cannot do that.
Right.
Sorry, I will completely walk away and leave.
We don't have to talk about this anymore.